this isn't any fun. And just to have friends, and I mean, there's a whole definition of friendship that I'm starting to recognize. Some folks we've met, maybe had 10 or 20 encounters, and other people we've spent a lot of time together. But friendships, I mean, they mean a lot, and it's just a great thing. But just a couple of people to start with, I want to really say thanks, because they've been really supportive, and they're standing right there. Ron and Bob, they have been so solid, and they are true friends. And guys, I really appreciate everything that you've done with me and for me. So thanks a lot. Thanks to all of you guys for helping getting this thing off, all this stuff off top dead center. I've done a lot of weird things in the community, and some really weird things. This may be the weirdest yet, a party at bankruptcy. But I thank you guys and the wonderful community that's here. It's just I mean, this is a great place. And Jackie and I have thought, well, you know, we could go someplace else. I mean, we're kind of able to start all over again, but we don't want to. This is where we want to stay. This is, and so often people come to the area for the weather and the mountains, but after you're here for a little while, it's the people that make this a different community. And I mean, that's just the way it is. It's been a couple of rough years for me and Jackie personally. A lot of it, we're gonna have a torching ceremony, if you haven't heard yet. Some would call this an altar. I don't think it's an altar, but it might be. But this is really what kind of took me down, and it's not so much the project, but the organization. I don't know how else to put it that way. I want to be careful of how I say that, but this is still a good idea. And if you have an opportunity to, and I have no idea what's going to happen in the future with this, but if you have an opportunity to support it in somehow, you ought to do it, because this project would make a huge difference in Central Oregon in a lot of different ways. The problem with this actually started one night when we all, in fact, many of you guys were there at a zone change. And on paper, 4 ordinary guys became multimillionaires when it went from one zoning to another. And there were some amazing attitudes that changed within that. And add to that, this is a big deal. And I think I was a little naive. Well, I know I was naive. I thought, okay, we'll just build this. I'll get some cardboard, glue it together, put the idea in. We'll just go out and get $100 million. That's a lot of money. And what happened, and times were good then, but what happened is people were coming out of the woodwork to hook us up with money. And I'm not sure, some goofy things happened. Our little group got scammed about $100,000. And I was angry. I was very angry, and it happened in a couple of phases. The first phase was $25,000. I was angry. I didn't want to do that, but got outvoted. 2 or 3 months went by. These people came to us and said, hey, we're getting real close to your money. We're real close to it. If you just write us another check for $35,000, we'll get it. Well, I was livid on all this. Went ahead, another $35,000 check got written. Well, it ended up, I think it was Veterans Day before, in 2008, and my daughter Shannon, who we're going to recognize in a minute, and I started putting some stuff together and found out that these people were they were scammers. And they had their license revoked in several states, and I sent a note to my partners, and said, we have a problem, keep our cards close to our chest. Well, they sent our research to the scammers, and then 18 hours later I was in a meeting in Portland, and Shannon calls me crying that I had become a child molester and a con artist. My partners didn't do that, but it hit the internet and the media, and suffice it to say, I became bitter and angry about a lot of stuff, and probably wasn't the easiest guy to work with, my partnership. And what I had hoped to do was change the structure of our partnership a little bit so that we could bring some reasonable decision making. None of that happened. The details of it, that I wouldn't sign loan notes. They were mad at me because I wouldn't do that. They changed my operating agreement, or the operating agreement, and I was gone. I was kicked out. So I was on the outside. Now, that was 2 years ago. And in that meantime, there's just been a lot of tough stuff, and I would welcome anybody to look at the details of it, and you'd just see there was a mess. The idea is still great, and my ex-partners, maybe you ought to support them, because it is a good idea. It needs to be done, and maybe they can get it done now. So we had this problem. I got out lawyered, and I'm gone. I'm not in the project anymore. And so it ends up I got to start all over again. And that's a little tough. But, like the saying says, cheer up. Things could be worse. I cheered up, and guess what? They got worse. So on the recommendation of a friend of mine, we went to visit an attorney in Prineville to find out about bankruptcy. And 2 hours later, we came back for a doctor's appointment that Jackie had. And all through this, we've been living hand to mouth, just trying to stay alive. We're paying our bills, and I don't think anybody in this audience or in Central Oregon is going to get hurt with bankruptcy. So you can rest assured that we're okay on that. But we've been living hand to mouth, no insurance. 2 hours later, we found out Jackie has breast cancer, which kind of really puts a trip on everything. And it makes this kind of stuff look like junk. It's just kind of a worthless worry about this kind of stuff when you got this kind of thing to worry about. Some of the good news is she's smiling more than I've ever seen her smile in my life. And she is being such a good trooper on this, and we're going to get through all that. Now, there's some cards, and we're going to use those cards in just a minute. I want to thank, through this whole mess that we've had, Shannon. This has been my right-hand person. Shannon lives right across the driveway from us. And Eric, husband, air traffic controller, he's told you where to go before if you fly out of here. But he does it nice. These guys have just really supported us. And it's nice. Where I wanted to go with all this is, I'm a Christian guy, and I love God with all my heart. And I have to say, there have been a few nights in the last month, the last couple of weeks, that I've looked up and wondered, what the hell is going on? And anyway, I've pretty much decided there's a huge difference between belief and knowledge. And we were at prayer breakfast here, what, a week ago? And we sat in the back, we happened to sit in the back of the group, and it was interesting to look at people. She knows the speech is too long. Got another preacher. It's a choice. You have to choose what you want to believe in. And I'm enough of a scientist and rational person that I have a tough time knowing, but I really believe with all my heart that God is, and He cares about me, He cares about all of us here. And between God and my family, we got it together. And that's a good thing. Amen. So, one little...
Yeah, tell them what to do with their papers.
One little piece here. So, through all this, I was drawing a line in the sand. I just said, okay, I'm going to burn this up and move forward. And that's a good thing. Say goodbye to all the crap that happens. I want you to get out your card a little bit. And in my travels, passing invitations out to you guys, I've heard a lot of stories of people hurting or friends that are hurting or stuff that's rough. And maybe we don't have it so bad. And I'm going to burn this and start all over again and forget about the past and move forward. Good. Woo! What I want you guys to think about for a few minutes is take that card out, and there is crap that every one of us have that's in our lives. I mean, it's kids, it's drugs, it's a lot of stuff. And here's a suggestion. Find somebody with a pencil beside you, if you're up for it, and scribble something on it that's garbage. And we'll put it in the middle of the fire. And it won't just me be burning something up to start over again, but all of us can do it. What do you think of that? Yeah. Okay, your homework, you've got 5 minutes.